Welcome to today's Fireside Chat with Jesse. I am joined today by Jena Morgan, VP of Operations for KLC Financial. Thanks for joining me, Jena.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm honored. You've had a lot of great people on here, and so I'm excited to be a part of it.
No, I'm excited that you reached out and wanted to be on here. So I think you and I have known each other, I don't know, almost probably since my career started in equipment finance. And it's professionals like you and equipment finance that I look to have on this program. So thanks again.
Yeah, it's a great platform. I'm glad you're doing it.
Thank you. So for the people that might not be too familiar with you, Jena, do you mind just explaining your experience or I guess career to date in equipment finance?
Yeah, sure. So I started off in the industry with Channel Partners Capital. That's when I started my first round of trade shows, and I started meeting everyone. And I worked for them for 2 years, and then I moved on to KLC Financial, and I've been with them for 2 years. And prior to that, I have banking background, specifically in SBA lending, and I've owned my own insurance agency. So I understand that running a business side of the business as well. So I've been in the banking / equipment finance industry for about 15 years now.
So definitely the experience and everything else. Now, what role were you at Channel Partners?
I ended there doing the western side of the United States, bringing in broker business, so sales.
On the sales side, and then when you started at KLC, obviously you're VP of operations now. How'd you move up to the ranks there? What'd you start at?
Yeah, I started off in sales, and then I had my first child, and I went part-time and really became the special projects person. So whenever they had something that they didn't have time to tackle but were interested in, I would research and work on that, and that really became my full-time job after I came back full-time. I did a lot of their technology systems, and I still do that today. But that's how it kind of morphed into all of operations of KLC.
Got it. And I'm going to skip around a little bit here because you brought something up there in regards to being a career, career professional, and then having children and what that does. So let's talk through that, especially in the last 18 months and what that's like.
Yeah. So when I moved to KLC about 6.5 years ago, I got married within the first month there. And then I had a baby a year later, and that was my first child, and I was a new mom. And I was a nervous new mom, like most mothers. And I just went to KLC and I said, I need to go part-time. I can't do this big career plus be a new mom. And they were very gracious and gave me a lot of flexibility, which is why I'm still here today. And then 2 years later, I had my second child and worked on technology projects at home while I was at home with him. And luckily over the last 18 months, because of COVID, my kids are young, so they're only 5 and 3, so nothing really changed, and I didn't have to have them at home. My in-laws take care of them, so they were able to continue to go to their house, and I could work from home without them here. Otherwise, I don't know how people with kids, both young and in school, trying to teach them how they did it. But we've done it, and we had employees that did it, and it really proved that we can work from home, provide flexibility, and still get the job done.
No, and that's fantastic. And I've known Mark and Spence, I want to say probably for 15 plus years, and heard great things about the organization. And to your point there, organizations that take care of their employees in times like that, I mean, everything comes full circle. So that's great. And as far as being a first-time parent, I remember Jeremy's now almost 13. And it's like you bring this kid home from a hospital, right? And it's like 30 minutes. Is it breathing? Is it not breathing? And you sit there and you're panicking. And there's a 9-year gap between both. I thought it was going to be so much easier. Granted, it was the second time around, but that big gap. And still, it's a little nerve-wracking, that whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say in the last 18 months, right, where there's at one time there was no daycare, there was no nothing. You're running an operational department, you know, all these different things. You're just like,
Yeah. Sometimes we can't run our families like an operational department. My husband will remind me of that for sure.
I have that conversation with Brooke all the time where I'm like, you realize I'm not one of your employees, right? Just kind of looks at me like, oh.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, for the people who might not be too familiar with KLC, do you mind just giving us a little company history?
I'm sure. Yeah. So Mark Keatman started KLC back in 1987. Spencer joined him in 2001, a couple weeks after 9/11. So they took a big risk. And we've been going strong ever since. We're 25 people now, about 10 salespeople, the rest ops, accounting, credit, and we do regional business mostly. So we're a nationwide company and we have that capability, but about 80% of our business is within the 5-state area of Minnesota. And we do small ticket. So our average transaction size is around 100,000.
Now, direct, indirect, a little bit of both, right?
Mostly direct. So we have our own sales team.
Gotcha.
We get a lot of referrals from community banks and also vendor-driven business.
So, what was it like going from sales to operations?
I think operations is my strength. You know, I think I did sales, especially out of college, out of necessity. I need to make a living. I need to put food on the table. I need a roof over my head, and I can sell a widget. So I can do that if I need to, but my love is operations. I think that I'm a great executor of the vision. So Spencer has a lot of ideas. I'm the filter, and I run with the things that are really going to make KLC better.
I like how you phrase that there. Sales, I want to say my second job out of college was with Yellow Book, believe it or not.
And oh, wow, yeah.
At a salary that wouldn't pay for it didn't cover my cost of living expenses. So you talk about an urge and need to sell.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I always love it when as a salesperson you're just painting a picture, right? And it's like, oh yeah, this is the idea, we can handle this. And then you go back to an ops person, they're like, "What'd you say? What's going
on?" What did you tell them that we're gonna do? Right? Yeah.
At least you understand both sides of it, though, which is admirable.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to know where they're coming from. It helps me understand the business as a whole.
So on to a different topic here. So last year, the Monitor came out with the top 40 under 40. You know, congratulations that you were listed in the. You know, do you mind just kind of talking about what that designation meant to you, Jena?
Yeah, sure. I'm honored. It was the first time, I believe, that they did it. And it just feels good to be recognized for all the hard work. I think each individual feels like, oh, I work hard every day. And so that recognition is, especially from an industry as a whole, feels really good.
Well, that's good. And then, so I know they just had their second one that just came out a couple weeks ago. And I think I made like 6 weeks. So I was pressing the envelope myself, but hey, you know, we'll take it.
Yeah, congratulations to you.
Thank you. I guess where I wanted to go with the top 40 under 40 is we always talk about in this industry, like how do you keep younger talent, you know, engaged? You know, how do you keep the younger people to stay around? And I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure. Well, I have a couple things. I think A players really want to be with other A players. So I think keeping that young talent around is that you also have to be an A player if you're going to have other people around you that are successful and want to stay. Otherwise, they typically then become, if you allow other players to be in the organization, those A players become C players, and then they end up leaving. They end up getting frustrated and leaving. So as long as you hold them to a higher standard and you demonstrate that you are also at this higher standard, they tend to stick around and want to be also mentored, and to provide that mentorship, I think, is important. The ELFA Women's Council just came out with a mentor-mentee program, and I'm part of that. And Deb Baker is my mentor. She's awesome. So much I could learn from her. She comes from a bigger organization, and I'm smaller, but there's definitely takeaways. And so I meet with her once a month, and that's really helpful to keep me going in the industry too, and to keep that momentum going. I also think, younger talent wants more flexibility. It's not all about compensation. Going back to being parents to young kids, you want to work from anywhere. I think we've proven that we can. We also want transparency and authenticity from leadership, and we want the leadership to create a vision. Where are we going? How am I a part of it? And where do I belong in the big picture? We want to know that. Also, I think just redefining also what is professionalism. It's no longer the 16th floor with all the black suits. We can wear jeans and a t-shirt. We can also wear a suit jacket or just a nice shirt with some shorts on, right? And still be professional. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So I think those are some of the key things to keeping the young talent around. Definitely not all of it, but.
Yeah, and you raised some good points there in regards to flexibility. I think as I'm starting to hear people, it's like, oh yeah, this will be one of those hybrids forever. Now I'm like hearing where it's like, no, you have to be back, and it's like just telling these people, it's like, be careful. And someone who's hiring talent at all times, it's like I'm just keep my eyes on it because what organizations don't realize is that if you're not focusing on the people that take care of you, they're going to go somewhere else and make a difference. So
yeah, I agree with you. I think that flexibility is important. I mean, if you have a dentist appointment at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you don't have any meetings and you got your work done, does it really matter? Yeah.
well, and especially now more than ever, I'm sure you find yourself probably working more now that you're not in an office, because it's like at 9 o'clock you're just like, I need to take care of this. And that's what I'm finding now. We're like this post-COVID world. You're just sitting there working all kind of wonky hours, and it's like you never really get away.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have to do some time blocking to actually get away. Like, this is my family time, right? But and technology helps with that too, right? You're laying in bed at 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night. You can send an email, but you might sleep better then too, so you're not thinking about it. But yeah, we're definitely working all the time.
And you touched on another good topic, and a lot of this goes to some of the panel discussions that you were having when you were on that NIFA panel. It's
Yeah.
professionalism. It's well, this is the way it used to be, and it's like that's not going to be acceptable anymore. It's congratulations, that's the way it used to be. This is the way it's going to be, and people need to see each other as, yeah, I'm wearing, like, what, I have this on, and I have shorts. I don't even think I'm wearing socks. So,
You don't need to.
be your true self. Obviously, there has to be some level of professionalism when it comes to the environments and everything. But it's, what is that? What does that look like? So,
Yeah. Another thing I was thinking that about bringing your whole self to work is a key in organizations to keep young talent. If you only allow them to bring the box that they bring to work, people have so much more to offer than just that box. There's so much more to their life. than just this work box. And I know we're working all the time, and you were talking about how we're technology and sending an email at 9 o'clock at night. But bringing that whole self and being that whole person really brings more innovative ideas. I really think that's going to be the future of new product launches, is allowing the whole person to represent themselves at work.
No, and that's a good point. And it's, how do you foster the correct environment? A lot of people are saying it's like, oh yeah, be open, honest, and everything else, but are they really open? Are doors really open, or are people judged for when they come forward and they have an idea? Um, I kind of experienced that, over the last year in regards to, oh, hey, here's an idea. And it's like, oh, yeah, whatever. But it's like, what are you going to do about it? And if you don't do anything or allow people to at least see it somewhat in motion or acknowledge it, then people are going to go and do it somewhere else. And if you open up that box, you're going to get so much more out of people, because it's going to be fulfilling. They're going to want to come to work earlier, stay later, put in the extra time. So that's a really good point.
Yeah, they're going to believe that you really care about them as a person. They're going to be more loyal to the organization, and that's how you're going to get the new ideas for the next round of equipment finance, right? And where we're going.
No, that's a really good point, Jenna. So as far as like the future of all these things, I know we're kind of touched on that. I was fortunate enough to see you at 2 events last month, so
Yeah.
it was great. Like, talk
That's,
about, what was that like being in person again?
oh, I loved it. I miss people so much. We're doing these calls, and these are great, but I think these calls are hard on relationships if you haven't met someone before. I think it's easier now that we've met several times, and so then it feels more intimate conversation, or feels more connected. But if you just met somebody for the first time, these video calls are hard.
It's
And then you just get sick of doing them.
Yeah, where you're sitting there and it's like, you know what? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. My first call this morning, I'm typically 100% on, and then there was just some things that presented themselves this morning, and I'm like, no, not not feeling this right now. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
impressive. So will be a distraction. Luckily, it wasn't my call, but still. Um, but no, I mean, you raised a good point. I mean, there was the guy from Texas, Kareem.
Yeah.
I never met other than this since last August. And when I saw him in the hotel, it was a totally different experience as opposed to just talking with someone on the phone before, which is interesting because as much as I am a handshake, want to be in front of somebody type thing, that kind of made me realize where it's like, you know what, this isn't bad. It's not the whole thing. I mean, there has to be that touch, but it's a good segue.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a good balance between the two. Plus, I love traveling, and I just miss traveling. I used to be so, I think I'm going to be changing the way that I'm traveling though. I used to be so business oriented, and I think I might bring my spouse now to some trips and try to mix it up, and, come a day early, stay a day late, and just enjoy it more.
No, and that's a good point. And you know, when you're sitting there working as hard as you work and everything, it's, why not? I mean, pre kids, I that's what I used to do. It's like,
Me too.
have a buddy in the area, I'm going to go in a day early, maybe stay a day late, and just enjoy. Now it's like, even with kids, it's like, okay, how do you work that balance? Because at the end of the day, if it's not clear up here, then what's the point?
Yep, so true.
So I've been asking everyone who comes on here, Jenna, a little fun fact about themselves. So sorry to kind of put you on the spot there, but you don't mind?
Sure, sure. I don't know if this is a fun fact, but something that I love to do. I'm part of this community that does this workout at 5:30 in the morning, someone's shed. in their yard in the country.
Oh,
So you pass by all the cows and the pigs and the horses on the way to the shed. And we do kettlebell workout. We run the gravel driveway. We flip the tires. I love this community. It's so fun.
so it's like Rocky style CrossFit. Like,
Yep. Yeah. And I look forward to it every morning. And I can't do it every day because
yeah.
you got to do yoga and stretching with all that lifting.
Now, does your husband go with you at all?
No, no, this is my thing. He has his thing. He
I was
thinks it's a little too intense.
gonna say 5:30. So what are you up at 5 every morning?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's only 8 minutes away. So yeah, up at 5, out the door. It's a good way to start the day. I'm a morning person.
Hey, at least
So
you're structured. I mean, I think that's my biggest issue is I'll get into a habit of like doing like a 6 o'clock ride on my Peloton, you know, and then I'll have a work trip, and then it disrupts everything, and then it's like, oh, do I really want to be up at 5:30? I can do it later. And then unfortunately, your day always catches up to you, so there is no later.
yeah, it's so true. If I wait till the afternoon, I won't do it.
No.
So, and you got to keep up the habit. I've stopped before, and once you stop, it's so hard to start again. Like you said, the work trip kind of messes up the routine, and if you don't stick with it, it's hard to get going again.
Well, not only that though, if I know I have to be up at 5, I'm probably going to be in bed by 9 at the latest. If you don't have that set time, it's like, ah, yeah, I can have a glass of wine at like 11. And is that really beneficial? I mean, it seems right, but probably not.
Yeah. You're like, this is going to mess up my workout in the morning. I can't do it.
We'll be there tomorrow or the next. So, I know you introduced KLC earlier. At the end of the day, with all the different finance organizations out there, why do business with KLC?
Yeah, so you asked the question why KLC. I think we bring unique skills to the table. We have all the technology of a big company. We have all the resources of a large company, but we have small company feel. So our customer service is exceptional. It's personable, and we get the deal done. We get a lot of unique deals coming in the door, and we're able to get them done. So I think that's what makes us different.
Yeah, you have some great people there. I know a lot of the funders that you guys work with. Everyone has nothing but positive things to say about KLC and the team. So definitely understand that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, our sales team has been around, what we have some 18 years, 16, 15 years, a lot of good seasoned salespeople, which says a lot about our organization.
Well, excellent, Jenna. Well, thank you again for taking the time to sit down with me today, and looking forward to meeting in person. I'm assuming maybe, I don't know, the ELFA or NIFA.
Yeah, I'm planning on going to both, so hope to see you there.
Look forward to seeing you there. And once again, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.